Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Appreciate y'all being here tonight. Got a great training plan for all of you. Looking forward to you being able to receive all this information from our wonderful Kelsey Britton. And I'm excited that there's so many of you here already and many more piling in. We'll be starting in about one moment. I'd suggest you grab a pencil, pen, paper, or however you take notes. I don't know if any of you have ever looked through your phone at old pictures. If you look through your phone at old pictures, you'll find some pictures you forgot you took. You'll find some videos you forgot you took. And you'll go, wow, remember that? That's like a notepad. We don't have a way to take pictures of trainings we attend, but we do have ways. There you go, Terrence. We do have ways to document so we can look back and review. I've got bins over here. This is training books from 20 years ago. 20 years ago. Training. Bins of it. I look through it all the time. So I highly encourage you take notes. I'd even get a notebook that you use for DAC and just kind of add to it, date it, put it up on a file cabinet, put it in a file for later. All right, let me find our guest speaker here this evening. Everyone's in alphabetical order. There's Kelsey. So many people coming in. Every time I go to click on you, Kelsey, you move down the list. So let's see if we can get you here and make co-host. I pulled it off. All right, beautiful. Kelsey, why don't we do a little test? You should be able to unmute yourself now. Going to do a little sound test.
Hi, everyone.
All right, hear you loud and clear. You look great. You're ready to roll, aren't you?
I am. It's been a busy week in payment processing.
It has been a busy week. You've been doing an amazing job. We got some great stories for everyone tonight. What I'll do is I'll do a little opening here and turn it over to you, and you can share your screen and do whatever else you need to do, of course. So, folks, hey, I just appreciate you being here tonight. We want to get right down to business. If this is your very first Tuesday night training, we do these every Tuesday where we'll feature one of our experts to talk about that service. This week is payment processing with Kelsey Britton. Kelsey talks to all of your clients. So if you have clients who are making a decision whether they want funding or not, she's the final person that's going to be speaking with them. She helps coordinate with all of our providers. We have multiple payment processing providers. We have a couple favorites, and she's dealing with all of those and helping to decide when we take them where, and even helps decide on equipment and such with our point of sales team. So you've got a great expert here who's been talking to all your clients. She knows what the hot buttons are. She knows what the value points are, how we're really saving people a lot of money, and of course, how technology can make their business even more efficient, more effective, and more business savvy. It looks good and it works well. So with that, thank you for being here. I'm going to turn it over to our manager in charge of all of our payment processing, Kelsey Britton. Kelsey, call is yours.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm excited. You know, I was saying it's been a busy week in processing, and then I remembered that it's only Tuesday, right? Like the week is just getting started, but that's exciting. So many businesses really are just, you know, taking the plunge, because I think, and I hope I'm allowed to say this, we'll edit this out if it's not allowed, but at the beginning or towards the beginning of this year, business owners were kind of hesitant, right, with the conditions, understandably so. They kind of just wanted to wait a little bit and see, you know, what was going to happen. And now they're kind of figuring out, whoa, it's June. Things haven't changed that much since the beginning. You know, we can't afford to wait anymore. We need to save that money. We need to upgrade our equipment. And so payment processing is really hot right now for business owners, because we can't offer that savings and the proper equipment. So I'm really passionate about it. You guys know that. Like David was saying, I'm talking to the business owners. I'm talking to the processing teams. We're making sure that we get the right fit for your clients, that you're submitting, that they're happy with the products, with the equipment, and just setting them up for success. Like we really want to save them money. And of course you as the agent, you can benefit from that. But especially in times like these, it's a little bit more than just saving money. Like they need the proper equipment and the service that's actually going to bring them through this, and actually help them grow on the other side of it. So we're kind of working around the clock, making sure that we can provide those things. And so I'm going to talk about a little bit of it tonight. I'm going to share my screen. Everyone can see that okay, right?
Can see it great.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to go over this. I know a lot of you on here probably already know this information, but if you're like me, sometimes you have to hear things over and over for it really to click. So I'm going to go over the basics. Then we're going to talk about some details with, what's happening right now in the payment processing space and how you guys can set yourself apart as DAC agents. So first, we have two processing options at DAC Payment Processing. The first one is standard processing. This is what business owners are used to, right? It's where they accept credit cards at their business. They, as the business owner, are paying all of the processing fees. And that's what they're used to. That's what everyone has done. And then, of course, we offer the new and amazing and saving business owners lots and lots of money, the cash discount or the edge processing option. So on a standard processing account, the merchant, let's say they're doing 100,000 in processing each month. They probably pay around $3,900 in fees. We offer a savings to the client. We lower the fees from $3,900 to $3,400, and they're saving about $6,000 per year, and they're happy with that. But then we also offer them the edge processing option. So same amount, they're processing 100,000. They're going to pay almost $0 in fees. We offer a massive savings to the client. We can lower their fees from $3,900 to almost zero. Most of the time it's like $2, $3, $6, right? It's almost zero. And we save the client about $45,000 a year. And of course their jaw drops and they're like, you've got to be kidding me. What are you doing? Let's do it. But we do offer both. So I want you guys to know that as an agent. So when you're walking into a business, you don't just have cash discount, you do have the standard. But again, what we're seeing right now, the trend is that more business owners are going with the edge cash discount because it does save them so much money. And that money can be used to do other things like, keep employees on or advertise or invest in a website or things like that. Some added benefits of what your merchants would get if they process with us. We have free equipment options. I'm going to talk a lot about that tonight. We're very transparent in our fees. I was talking with a business owner yesterday, and he said, I just don't understand why you guys are so much cheaper. Like why have I been paying so much with this other processing company? And we kind of looked through his statement and his analysis, and I showed that it looked like from the outside he was getting a really good rate, but that processing company had kind of thrown in some hidden fees. A lot of things were listed as other on his statement, right? So that processing company just wasn't very transparent, and they were just trying to make a lot of money off of that account. So just rest assured, whenever your merchants come to us, we're going to be transparent and we're going to help them get the best deal possible. We also do a free statement analysis. Other processors charge for that service because it does take time to go through each statement line by line, look at, where they're paying, their transactions, their fees, their interchange, all those kinds of things. I'm just saying words, so you guys don't worry about it, but it does take time, and we offer that for free because we do want to find the best deal for your merchants. We have exceptional service, 24/7 support whenever it comes to their merchant account or their equipment. We have next day funding at no additional cost to the merchant. That's huge. Most of the time it's delayed by at least 2 days. Sometimes it's 3 business days. We don't have that here. We have late batch times. This is really great for those businesses that are open late, like bars or restaurants or, kind of hangout places that just have a later time, maybe a bowling alley or, things like that, movie theaters. So we have those late batch times where business owners can still get their funds the next morning, and they don't have to pay an extra fee. We also provide door and window and point of purchase signage. It's included in the equipment, so the merchant isn't having to worry about that. And every merchant receives our gold level care of support. We have equipment for any business. This has came up a lot. I would say within the last 48 hours. I don't know why, but we have equipment for any business. So if it's just a small business and they're just needing a mobile reader, we have that. If they, are old school and they just want to stick with the desktop countertop card reader, we have that. We have smart devices, so, tablet-based equipment where it's kind of touch screen and, easy to use. We have that. Full POS systems, we have that. That's kind of been the question lately is, do we offer the POS systems? And yes, we do. We basically offer any POS system that's not any POS system that's out there, but any feature that a merchant or a business owner is looking for, we're going to have it on one of our equipment bundles. And some of those we can get placed for free. So, please reach out and email me or, go into your business and be confident knowing that we do have the POS system that's going to help their fine dining restaurant or their multiple location restaurant or things like that. We also offer a virtual back office for all of our merchants. This is great for business owners who want to keep track of, what's selling, what's not selling, transactions, all that kind of thing. Online, we also have online gateways and apps. So e-commerce has really picked up in popularity. Of course, it was popular before the pandemic, but it's even more now, right? Business owners, some of them had to close their doors and they just had to go only online. So we offer that. We also offer custom apps and ordering ahead. So, for restaurants or pizza places, we offer all of that as well. And I say you offer that as a DAC agent. 80% of the time, your merchants and business owners, they're going to need something like this. It's not super often that we're dealing with the, 25,000 location restaurant, right, that needs the huge POS system. Most of the time it is machines like this. We offer all of these on free placement for merchants. That's another competitive advantage that you have as a David Allen Capital agent. A lot of processing companies out there, they offer devices like these, but they make the merchant pay a monthly fee or a rental fee, or they might have to buy it outright. And we don't do that at DAC Payment Processing. So for the other 20% of the time, I'm going to talk about some of industry specific equipment. I know for me personally, I kind of get in like a one track mindset, right? So I kind of grouped these into different industries just to kind of help you guys as the agent create a list, right? Or kind of start brainstorming on who you can help and, what food trucks do you know? Or, later on, we're going to talk about, liquor stores and salons. So I wanted to show you guys the industry specific equipment for those types of accounts. So starting with food trucks, of course, food trucks are mobile, they're on the go. They're not plugged into a brick and mortar type of establishment. So they need mobile readers. Of course, the one on the left is our very basic 2-in-1 Bluetooth mobile reader. It Bluetooths to an app on your phone. That's very popular. A lot of people just pick that one. A lot of food trucks. Going up, the one in the middle, that is the A920. It's still very small. It's still a handheld, so kind of like a mobile device. It has a built-in receipt printer. It has a camera for barcode scanning. It has a touch screen, obviously. From there, it does, contactless payments and chips. This one's very popular with food trucks just because it does have the built-in receipt printer. It is free to be placed, so they don't have to buy it outright or upfront. With some of our competitors, like one that's not a circle, but a different shape. You have to purchase it up front. It's over $300. This one, it's free to be placed. It does cost $9.95 a month just for the software and the service, but still very affordable, very good price. We actually talked to a food truck a couple weeks ago, I think, about this device because he was still using a different processor. And when we went to pay for our food, he actually handed us his cell phone and asked us to sign it with our finger, which I'm just going to admit and be honest tonight that I was kind of a germaphobe before 2020. And now when that happened, I was like, oh, red flag, like this is not okay. And I'm like a bit, business owner. I work with businesses all the time, so I understand, but I'm like, if someone that is a customer that's not as understanding as me, they could see that or have that happen, write a bad review, and that food truck could be in really big trouble. So we did talk to him about this device in the middle, the A920. A step up from that would be the Flex. Of course, it's a bigger screen. It has a customer-facing screen on the other side. It can sit on a desk or a countertop, but it is also mobile. So it just charges and you can take it. There's an arm strap under the screen. So it's pretty popular with kind of, bigger establishments that are mobile and on the go. Again, free placement. There is a $49.95 setup fee, and then that one is $19.95 a month with Wi-Fi connection. So those are some of the food truck pieces of equipment that you guys can offer. They have all of these functionalities, tickets and tabs, open a ticket, run a card to start a tab, close it when the customer's ready. They can connect to a kitchen printer. If they need to, let's say it's a larger food truck, right? They're taking orders in one window and the kitchen's working, on the other side. They can just fire those off to the kitchen printer. If something were to happen and the machines went offline, they can still take transactions. That's something that business owners worry about, and we have a solution for that. Restaurants will love all of our equipment. I know I'm kind of biased, obviously, but we really have every piece of equipment that has every functionality a restaurant would need. These are just some of the examples. The one on the far right is brand new that's added to our lineup. It's Solido POS, and it's available on a free placement. When they told me that, my jaw dropped, right? Because Solido is one of those top notch, we're talking like fine dining POS systems. I don't think I put it in the slides, but there are a list of major restaurant brands that are currently using Solido, and I will get those in the resource center and in the Facebook group, but it's really, really good. This is one of those POS systems that is going to compete very well against some of those that are already out there. This is going to cover every restaurant owner's need. It can do edge, it can do standard processing, and the monthly placement fee is only $49 to $59 a month. The other ones on here, the E500 and the Paradise POS, both are free placement. The Paradise free placement with Edge, of course. Again, lots of functions and features for restaurants as far as menu items, employee clock in, also scheduled discounts. So let's say a restaurant has happy hour, every day from 3 to 5, that'll automatically happen on the machine. So business owners aren't having to worry about employees forgetting. All those kinds of things are included in the Paradise. Obviously, you guys can tell I love talking about this stuff, so I'm going to try to not just go all night long on the equipment, but I'm glad we have Q&A at the end, so just write something down if you have a question or if I was going too fast, and we'll cover it. Restaurants will also love our custom app build. There's no build fee, no Apple or Android upload fee, which is huge. They can put their full menu on there. They can offer a loyalty program, and all the business owner has to pay is $99 a month. That one's really cool because it also has geofencing, which means if I am at my pizza shop and someone has my app and they go and drive by David Rutz's pizza shop, then it'll ping his phone and say, no, you have a 20% off coupon at Kelsey's Pizza Shop, right? And it'll motivate his car to turn around and go back to my pizza shop. So that alone is worth the $99 a month.
Kelsey,
That's with custom app build. Yes.
Kelsey, can I ask you a question real quick on this?
Sure.
Okay, great. I started to flip the script here. This Applova and the custom app build, do those go with any of the other POS systems, or would you have to have this Applova or this app build in replacement of all those other POS systems?
So these are like iOS or tablet based. So you can use your own iPad if you needed to, or your own computer as like the POS, like as the piece of equipment, if that makes sense.
So if
I know
had, let's say,
Applova.
if I had Pay Anywhere, or I had one of the other POS systems or the simple readers, can I also get the custom app build alongside of that?
Yes, we would just add it to their account.
Okay, so it is a separate, so it's a cool, I could have my own app basically. In addition to having a POS system, I could have my own app too, or I could just have my app in a simple reader.
Yes,
correct?
That's correct.
All right. And the good news is, folks, none of us have to remember all this. We just want to know all the cool features because Kelsey and the POS team remember all this.
Yes. Well, and this is like a very, I'm kind of touching all of these bases because we really just want you guys to feel confident as agents whenever you're talking to these business owners. And we offer a lot of cool stuff. I know I'm biased, but like if you can go and talk to a restaurant or, any type of business, we're going to go into the other ones in just a second, and, have that confidence and be like, well, you might have a cool cool piece of equipment now, but do you have your own custom app, right? And just the savings of them not even having a build fee is crazy. I've looked into building apps myself for other ventures, and it was thousands and thousands of dollars just to get it built, right? And there's no build fee here, so that's pretty huge. And we all know that everyone's on their phone. They're all going to this online ordering type of mentality, and they were doing that before COVID, but obviously now it's increased a little bit. So this is something that businesses could implement, and not only to help them with their processing and their customers, but to have that competitive edge against the other like businesses in their area. So okay, there's my custom app build tangent. I'm going to keep going. So then next to that, we have Applova. That one's more of like an online ordering site. This is great for restaurants that, didn't have a website in the beginning. They are kind of struggling to figure out how to go online, right? They're just taking phone call orders. This is one of those things that they need because it's $9.95 a month. There's a 40-cent transaction fee, but they order ahead. Then the customer checks in whenever they're there for curbside. The employee's able to, take out the food. They've already paid for it through the online ordering website. So there's no, contact with credit cards and receipts and things like that. It's just a very nice, streamlined, very affordable process for those restaurants that are kind of struggling to figure out what they need to do in this post-pandemic business world. Okay, retail stores. I'm like in confession mode tonight. Retail is my jam. Like, I love fashion. I love the science behind it. I love all of it. And so I'm hoping there are some of you on here that love it as much as I do. And maybe you have a shopping problem, right? It's fine. Retail therapy, that's a thing. Now you can, whenever you're going and you're shopping, you can actually work your business at the same time, right? So we've partnered with Retail Cloud. They actually offer services to different industries. I just want to talk about the apparel industry just to show you guys that we have something. But other industries that they help are liquor stores. They have a POS for them. Pet stores, they have a POS for that industry as well. Grocery stores, the list goes on. But this one, I just want to talk about apparel just in case you're like me and you're going to go buy some shoes this week and you want to talk to that business owner. Okay, so There are a lot of things that go into a retail POS system or a system that you just wouldn't even think about. So size and color matrix is something that we offer, e-commerce store, customer sentiment, customer preferences. Something that's really huge with this is they have, as soon as someone makes a purchase, they will get a little ping on their phone asking how their service was that day. And what's nice is the customer is giving them, a 5-star rating, 4-star rating, but it's actually internal. So the owner is receiving that information before that customer goes to Google or Yelp and writes a bad review. The owner is able to talk to that customer and fix it before it can be detrimental to their reputation. So that's huge in itself. We offer that. Images on display, barcode printing, seasonal product tracking, mobile apps. So let's say, things open back up and there's huge lines at these retail stores. We have these handhelds where they can be COVID compliant and go and check customers out without having a huge line. Clientele mode, salesperson tracking, they have promotions, seasonal, they can offer loyalty rewards and club pricing. That's something that's really popular for pet stores and liquor stores as well. And then email preference marketing. So all of that, they're not only going to save on their processing fees and, get awesome equipment, they're also going to get all of this to help them better their business as far as, loyalty programs and marketing and customer, reviews and all those kinds of things. So it's really neat and it's really affordable. I wanted to show you guys some of the e-commerce websites. So with Retail Cloud, they do have an online only option. So if you know those business owners that are just looking for a website to process through, they actually have a lot of templates ready to go. So a business owner can say, yep, I want to save on my processing. I want to partner with I want my processing to go with you, David, because you're awesome and you talked to me and you gave me your card. All they have to do, we sign them up, we give them their application. They're an online only. So they pick the template that they want, fill in their products, right, and their prices, and their website is ready to go in about 48 hours. So this is great for those businesses that maybe can't afford a website developer or a graphic designer or all of those things, and we offer that. So I think that's pretty neat. Hope I'm not the only one. And if you guys go buy shoes this week, you guys talk to those retail owners and say, you have to talk to my friend Kelsey. Liquor stores. So again, this is Retail Cloud again, but same machine, different software a little bit. There's a lot of things that you wouldn't think a liquor store would need, but when you go into a liquor store, liquor store owner, they're going to be asking these questions. And do you have to know all of this? No, absolutely not. But if they say, well, can I sell and track packs? Yes. Right? That's all you have to know. Yes, you can. Let's talk to Kelsey, right? Like, let's get your statement. Let's do this. So just know this. We have a machine that's going to ask for the age verification. We're going to be able to sell and track packs. We're going to be able to make on-floor adjustments. We're going to be able to do invoicing. We're going to be able to do lottery payments. Sometimes liquor stores accept those. Loyalty and club pricing. A handheld to go around the store and scan those barcodes, all different things, promotions, text marketing, email marketing, loyalty program. So again, liquor stores are going to save on their processing because we already know that we can save them money, right? They're going to get amazing equipment and they're going to be able to get all of these features that are going to help them with their business. Paradise is another one that helps with liquor stores. So they have a restaurant version, they have a liquor store version. With this one, you can get it for free with Edge processing, right? If they're doing over $10,000 a month in processing, they can get a Paradise bundle for free. This one also does the age verification. It keeps track of sales reports, case break inventory, right? So you buy a case of wine, but you sell it by the bottle. This keeps track of all of that. So there's not a lot of room for employee error, which is nice for business owners to hear, right? You can generate and receive purchase orders, lottery purchases, scheduled discounts, Wine Wednesday, right? It's going to automatically be put in there so an employee is not forgetting about it. Mix and match pricing, loyalty program. You can have up over 30,000 SKUs. There's a mobile dashboard so the owner can get into the back office part of it and keep track of the analytics and stuff from anywhere. So let's say the business owner's at the lake, you know, he can get on his phone, tap into it, see how stuff is going at the store, label printing, and more. If you guys want to take a screenshot, this is your promo. So when a merchant is doing, they want to go with edge pricing and they're doing 10,000 a month in volume, they can get this bundle for free. So that includes the 9.7-inch iPad, the iPad stand, the cash drawer, the EMV card reader, receipt paper, and a printer. So that's awesome because you're going to give them all of those features and save them $1,299 up front and save them every month on their processing fees. Salons and spas, of course, I love this. So this is a very cool device. So it's called Uzelli. It's obviously a piece of equipment, but it has very in-depth salon software. This is very important as salons open back up. I know in Oklahoma where I live, they've been open for a while, but some of them still aren't performing super effectively, right? So, you know, maybe you're calling for your appointment and then the stylist has to come out to the parking lot to tell you it's your turn, right? Like it's just kind of clunky. That's my term for like not smooth whenever it comes to business. And we can provide a better process. So they can check in, you know, book their appointment online. It will actually tell them, it'll text them on, it'll show up on the piece of equipment in the salon, you know, are you ready to text this person? It'll text them, they can pay from their phone, they'll come in. So there's, again, it's very pandemic friendly. There's not a lot of contacting going on. There's also loyalty, right? So text marketing is huge in business. It captures the phone number and it says, oh, Kelsey, you know, you haven't been here in, you know, 2 months, we miss you, you know, here's 10% off of your next haircut, right? So all of that is built in to this machine. Our next lineup is the Pay Anywhere platform. You guys have already seen some of these, right, throughout this presentation. The mobile reader, of course, the A920 on the right, the smart POS in the back. These are very popular, especially for those merchants who are kind of going from the old school desktop terminal, kind of venturing up and stepping up to go. Maybe they're not ready for a huge POS system yet, but they need something a little bit more in depth than the desktop card terminal. This is where we go. All of these are free placement, which is huge. Just some of them have those monthly software fees. So this is the system. I just gave you guys so many details, and now I'm going to tell you, don't worry about it. So now you know what we offer, but all you have to do is talk to the business owner and get them to your replicated site, which is davidallencapital.com/your ID number. They're going to go to your website. They're going to fill out the quote request form. The DAC team is notified and they talk to your client right then. So they will request their processing statement so we can get their savings analysis. We're going to find the best processing option. So like I said, there's a few different options that we offer. We're going to present the one where they save the most money, present the two where they save the most money actually. We're going to send it to them. We're going to call them. We're going to walk them through it, you know, talk through the numbers. They're going to accept. Then we send them a digital application link for them to fill out and sign. And then their equipment usually ships that day or the next day, depending on what time their application is submitted. And they go out FedEx, and it's usually about 5 to 7 business days max. So this is the process. All you have to do, we take over right where those cute little blue people are, right? So all you have to do is just get them to your website to fill out the quote request form. Then we take over from there. We go over all those details about equipment and types of processing and features that they need at their restaurant or their salon. I wanted to talk tonight about Edge and why it's so important right now and why it's working right now. I actually sent a comparison today to a merchant, and with Edge, we could save that merchant over $4,000 a month. That's not a joke. That's a real number. $4,000 a month. It's huge, right? That kind of money means that they get to keep employees or, buy some advertising or, stay in business, right? So it's very important that we offer these savings to them. And why it's working right now is because consumers are more sympathetic, right? I don't know about you guys, but since all of this has happened, I've been more intentional about shopping local and making sure, we're eating out. I would like to say we're only eating out once a week, but that's not true because I'm not very good at cooking, so we eat out quite a bit. We are supporting local business, right? But we want to make sure that our favorite restaurants are staying in business. And I think all of you would agree. And so when we go into a business and they say, pay with cash and save, like we understand, it's fine. Yep, I'll pay a little bit more because all I have is a card today. It's not a big deal. Consumers are sympathetic, and so it's working for business owners. Saving money is huge, so there's less resistance from the merchants, right? The comparison we sent today, we could save the merchant over $4,000 a month, and the card fee was like 80 cents or something, right? So, that savings is worth that additional card fee. It's the perfect time to try something new. A lot of businesses realize they have to do something new because, there's just been this huge shift, obviously, in how you do business. And so it's a great time to say, we've opened back up. This is what we're doing. Pay with cash and save. And it also allows them to offer their customers a discount, which is huge. So if someone's not doing cash discount or not doing Edge, and I don't want to say obviously, but because I'll probably get in trouble, but they have most likely raised their prices on everything and they're just not telling you, right? To offset the expenses of the processing fees. So instead of doing that with Edge and cash discount, they can keep their cash price the same, and then their card price is we offset it a little bit to help the business owner out. So instead of raising their prices across the board, and it doesn't matter what you pay with, you're going to pay that more expensive price, we have the option where the cash paying customers can get that discount, and then the card price offsets some of those expenses. Okay, business owner icebreakers. I know we went through so much information and you guys are like, okay, but how do I get out and do this, right? How do I talk to someone? So I wanted to come up with some icebreakers. These work, and they're not super salesy, right? Or super pushy, because the last thing a business owner wants right now is someone being salesy McSaleson, getting in their face while they're trying to run their business. So these are really great. This is for someone who's using traditional equipment. So those are card terminals that just sit on the desk. The 80% of people are using. One icebreaker is, have you ever thought about offering receipts for your customers by text or email, right? That's a great conversation starter, because if you're shopping at a business or supporting a local business, they're probably going to hand you a paper receipt if they're using traditional equipment. So they're handing you your receipt. You can have that icebreaker. You introduce yourself as a payment processing agent, and the conversation goes on from there. Next one, technology for businesses is rapidly changing, just like it did with cell phones. Everyone think back to the oldest cell phone that you owned, right? And now think about the cell phone that you own right now, right? It changed fast. It just feels like yesterday we all had bag phones. Just kidding. I did not have a bag phone. I'm not going to get on here and lie, but I did have some pretty older cell phones, okay? That's probably an argument that we could start later, but compared to now, my cell phone does everything, right? And business owners can relate to that. So when you bring up the cell phone thing and then they're looking at their equipment on their desk or on their counter and they're like, oh yeah, like business is changing, right? Technology is changing. So you're going to say technology for businesses is rapidly changing, just like it did with cell phones. That's a huge visual that everyone can relate to. And then you say, I want to help your business keep up with those changes, right? You're there to serve the client and help them in 2020. Okay, keep going. So these are not dependent on equipment. So I love to ask questions and just be super curious, because when you ask those questions, you're going to find out what you need to know from the business owner. So when I'm in a business, whether I'm purchasing something or just going in there to introduce myself, I'll ask, how long have you had your XX machine? We'll just say Canon. That's my printer. That's not a POS, but how long have you had your Canon machine? And then they'll tell you, how do you like it, right? And that's going to steer your conversation the way it needs to go. They're either going to say, oh, I love it. It does this feature, this feature, this feature, right? And you take a mental note, and then you come and email me and you're like, Kelsey, do we have anything that does this feature, this feature, this feature? And I will tell you, yes, right? Or they're going to say, oh my gosh, I hate it. It does this, this, and this. And then you come to me after that conversation and you say, Kelsey, they said that their equipment does this, this, and this. How can we fix that, right? So that's a great way to start that conversation. Just be super curious, ask questions, because we know we're going to save them money. So having those equipment questions is fun, and you don't have to know everything. Next one, do you offer contactless payments? This one's huge, especially right now, because so many people are trying to go contactless. Contactless, for those who don't know, it's things like Apple Pay or Samsung Pay, or you have those credit cards where you can just tap the machine. You actually don't have to insert it or swipe it, right? It's all about not touching or having as less contact as possible. And business owners really do need to move into that direction. We have equipment that, of course, offers the standard, swiping or inserting, but it also does have the contactless for those customers who are worried about it. That way they're not losing business, right? But a lot of them don't. A lot of business owners right now do not have contactless equipment. What about online ordering, right? So maybe you're in there and you came in and ordered your tacos, but next time you want to order online, ask them, can I order this online next time, or do I have to come in, right? Ask the business owner, see what their strategy is, and then you can introduce yourself. Well, actually, I help businesses with online ordering. Can I give you my card, or, can I send you some information, or can I come back tomorrow and we can talk about it, right? So those are some good icebreakers. Next, do you deliver? How does that work, right? I already said, be super curious, find out what they're doing. You're not going to come across as this super pushy person. You're going to come across as curious and wanting to help. Find out what that strategy looks like. Another icebreaker, don't you hate paying credit card fees? I always say that to business owners because, number one, I've been there and I know how painful it is. And number two, their answer is always the same. Yes. No business owner loves paying credit card fees. And if they tell you that, they're lying, and just go on to the next business. The last one, I was talking to my friend Kelsey, and man, I have a typo right there. I was talking to my friend Kelsey, and we saved a XX business XX a month this week. Right? So I've been posting in the DAC agents Facebook group all of these numbers that we're sending out because I want you guys to use those, right? One was a dry cleaning company. One was a burger restaurant. One was, I'm just trying to think of the ones off the top of my head. One was, a hairstylist, right? So you can use those when you're going and talking to business owners. Pro tips, I'm trying to wrap up and go fast. Pro tips, don't wait, don't hesitate. And I said this last time, but I'm going to say it again because, like I said, it's already June 23rd, and things are the same, right? Like you can't wait until things go back to normal to get to work, to help these business owners. So don't wait, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate comes with, let's say you're in a business tomorrow and you weren't prepared, right? You weren't like, oh, you didn't go into that business to work. It's okay. Like you don't have to look perfect to talk to the business owner. You don't have to have the perfect card or the perfect marketing material. Like get their phone number and write it on, a napkin. Actually, put it in your phone. That's write it on a napkin like we're in 1990 or something. Put it in your phone, right? Follow up with them. It's not going to look unprofessional. It's going to look like you were there to support their business and you're there to help, right? Instead of going in there with an agenda. Number 2, talk benefits and ask questions. I already talked about it with the icebreakers. Ask a ton of questions and talk benefits. You don't have to talk details. This machine has Wi-Fi connectivity and, this button and this button and this button. They don't care. Like this machine is going to cut down your accounting time by 40%. Right? Like talk benefits of what's going to help them. Number 3, when you're talking about Edge, talk about the discount versus the fee, right? And I think we can all agree, like when we hear fee, we're like, ugh, I don't know, kind of iffy, right? But when we hear discount, especially all of us retail people, our retail therapy club that we're going to form, when we hear discount, we're like, where? Like, show me, like I'm down, right? So that's the conversation that you want to have when you're talking about Edge, because business owners are still being able to offer that discount to their customers. Number 4, personalize and prosper. When you're following up with these businesses, personalize it, right? If you go out to eat tomorrow, take a picture of your food and send it in your email the next day, right? Or that night. Oh my gosh, I was just at your restaurant. I had the baked salmon. It was delicious. And I attached the picture, right? I wanted to introduce myself. You weren't there yesterday. I missed you, but I wanted to introduce myself. Loved the salmon, loved your restaurant. Here's what I can do for you, right? Of course, I'm going fast, but number 5, some will, some won't. Who cares? That's the truth, right? Some will, some won't. Who cares? Just tell yourself that, right? You don't need every single business on the planet to be in your payment processing portfolio. You just need some to create that residual income, which David is going to talk about here in just a minute. Number 6, brainstorm, plan, and do. So I've given you so much tonight. So after this is over, because we're not done, and David's going to bring the rain with the commission. So don't go anywhere, because I know that's why you guys are here, is to make money, right? But I've given you so much that you can brainstorm, right? What food trucks can I talk to? What liquor stores can I talk to? Where do I buy tacos? Where do I buy my shoes? What hairstylists do I know? Who do they know, right? I was talking with my hairstylist this week, which is embarrassing. Like I said, it's confession night for me. I thought she knew what I did for a living. I mean, she cuts my hair. We talk about everything, right? Like when you go and get your hair cut, everything is talked about. I thought she knew what I did. And I was talking to her because I was doing these slides for the salon equipment. And I was like, hey, who owns your salon? And she's like, well, we got a new owner. So that opened that up. And then I said, well, have you ever thought about accepting cards? Because I always pay her with a check. And she goes, well, I have been accepting cards for a long time. And I'm like, what? Like, I would not be writing my checks. And she's like, yes, I use that one company that's not a circle, and I pay the fees. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you know that I thought you knew that I did this. And she didn't. Okay. So brainstorm tonight and plan and do. Don't assume anything. Your friends don't know what you do for a living. They don't know that you have this. They don't know that you have this equipment at your fingertips or this kind of savings. So brainstorm who those people are, write them down, make a plan, schedule it out. Tomorrow I'm going to talk to 5 of those people. The next day, 5. The next day, 5. Do 10, do 50, do whatever it is, but brainstorm, plan it, and actually do it. Right? Don't just write it down and pretend like you're going to do it. And then all of a sudden you wake up and it's October instead of June and you still don't have a payment processing portfolio. Okay. I'm really fired up tonight. I apologize. Last slide for me. New resources are coming. I gave you guys a little sneak preview of what is going to be available for social media and printing and things of that nature. So I'm going to stick around for the Q&A, but first, I know you guys are ready for David to show you how to make money. and I am ready for him to show you too. And me. Okay, there you go.
Kelsey, you did fabulous. That's great, great stuff. Thank you again. Yes, I see people applauding. Yes, great information. You didn't race through it. You went through it very well. You're a great presenter. I love watching you train. Thank you for all you're doing behind the scenes. Kelsey has been a business owner for years, guys, gals. And so she brings all that experience as she's talking to these business owners on the phone on your behalf. You can see the strategy. She's got strategy in her mind always on different things, these pro tips and different ideas of where to go to. I think, and Kelsey and I have not discussed this, but I would think, and this is all changing so quick, that I would bet that if Kelsey took the little slides on just took the slides even just on the, let's call it the liquor stores or the hair salons or the restaurants or the food trucks, and she just did a little slideshow video just to that client and said, you own a hair salon, this is equipment we have for you, and we just did a little keynote presentation and she spoke it out the way we all do all of our trainings you see on Facebook. I bet that could be a neat little tool that you would share with all of your hair salon friends or your liquor store friends or so that they can get the features and also see the competency of what we are offering. I bet that's be a valuable tool. So Kelsey, we'll talk about that. I think that'd be a stellar thing. What you just covered, I thought, if I could add this person on and this person on and this person on, they'd be getting our POS systems. And I can't transmit it the way you can, but I can certainly talk savings and I can certainly talk features. I can certainly talk about what we can do. But I think tools like that would go a long, long way. Kelsey, you just did fabulous. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thanks for all the print material you're making too. It's great stuff. All right, let's go into compensation quick. It's going to take me a minute to find the appropriate screen here. So bear with me while I do this. Okay, here we go. Okay. Kelsey, can you see my screen? All right. Great job, great job, great job. All right, highlights. Some of you are brand new. This is your first payment processing presentation or first training we've had. Many people joined last week. So this is your first Tuesday night training. We do this every Tuesday night, feature a different service. Of course, tonight's payment processing. The basics of payment processing, you heard a lot of it tonight. There's other stuff that you'll get in our basic training, which is step 3 after you get started. Step 1 was get started right. Step 2 was service start. Step 3 is the Saturday training. Now you'll see step 4 is the game plan. That's in the Agent Resource Center. But keep in mind, getting clients, you can earn significant residual income getting clients. That's what we call being self-employed, right? But you can also, if you want to, build a team, and that's when you start becoming more of a business owner because you're earning on the efforts of your team, right? Assuming they produce revenue. So we're going to talk about the commissions you earn on both of these. First of all, personal client income is you're referring that automobile shop. I mean, $45,000 a year, Kelsey just proposed someone a savings today. That's, actually $48,000 a year. That's $250,000 over 5 years that business owner will save in processing. And the average ticket's only going to go up 80 cents. 80 cents? I mean, come on. A business owner, I would imagine, is going to be moving forward. But as you're referring this, your personal clients, you get paid personal income. It ends up being about 50% of the monthly profit you get. Well, what does that mean? Plus, you can get bonuses sometimes if they switch to the cash discount and they're doing $10,000 or more a month in processing, okay? If they're not on cash discount and they're not doing $10,000 a month, there's no upfront bonuses. There's just retail 50% monthly profit every month for the life of the customer. What does this mean? Well, 50% of profit looks like this. A rule of thumb is you take the monthly, with standard processing, take the monthly processing and multiply it by 2%. Take a screenshot of this if you want. Multiply it by 2%, and that's your approximate annual income. So real quickly here, if someone's doing $100,000 a month in processing and they're on standard processing with us, they're going to save a little bit. And on average, you'll make about $2,000 per year for referring that client. Okay. If they get on cash discount processing, you're going to make about 4%. So if they're doing $100,000 a month, you'll make about $4,000 a month. I'm sorry, $4,000 a year. Now, keep in mind, these are averages. All right. Our average client is closer to 25,000. So 25,000 times 4% is 1,000 a year you'd earn. So this is showing if they're doing 100,000, what you're using. So I wanted to use simple math, 4%. So if our average client's doing 25,000 in processing per month, and you're making 4%, so you're making about $1,000 a year, $1,000 a year. How many clients do you have to refer to make 100,000 a year? Well, if you make $1,000 per year each, you want to make 100,000, refer 100 clients. Do you think that you could spend some time to become proficient at referring this and identifying people who want to save massively? You're not charging anyone more. You're bringing them features and benefits and technology they don't otherwise have. And you're also saving them significantly. Saving them significantly. We signed up, Kelsey helped me with one of my personal clients. They wanted to be able to take orders at their front counter and print off in the kitchen their tickets. Currently, they can't do it. They just have a regular credit card reader. They wanted to be able to print the order in their kitchen so the kitchen can start working on their designer donuts, and designer bagels, and all these things without having to just take a ticket and walk it back. They wanted to be able to print it in a different area and start working on it. And they wanted to be able to text the customer when it was done, instead of the customer having to stand in line waiting because they're on a beach, and they wanted people to be able to walk around a little bit and text them because it takes 5 or 6 minutes to create this item. And so they wanted to text them and they can walk back instead of hanging out in their restaurant, taking up all their space at their counter. So those features they didn't have today. Not only are we saving this dude 5% of processing every month, but we're giving him technologies. We're able to give him that service that he wants, the ability to text and have the printing without, he doesn't have it today. We're giving him that and saving him money. So you're giving features and saving money. Do you think you could get yourself comfortable to say, I'm going to become proficient at having the conversation? It's going to be I'm going to stumble and bumble a little bit, but eventually I'm going to break through, and I'm going to be on the other side of discomfort, and I'll be on the side of comfort. And now it's only a matter of time before I refer and get to 100 clients and then 200 clients, right? It's only a matter of time. If you do this every single week, just talk to some clients periodically. If you just had 2 clients a week in a year, you've got 104 clients. What if you just got 2 clients a month? In a year, you got 24 clients. You're making 24 grand a year after a year working part-time with us. And next year, you're going to make that 24 grand again. Keep talking to clients. What if it took you 4 years to get to 100 clients? 4 years, because you only got 2 clients a month, and you're talking to clients every day a little bit, and you get 2 clients a month. And at the end of 4 years, you have 100 clients, and you're making 100 grand a year in 4 years. I don't care what your 19-year-old kid got GPA-wise in high school. I don't care how special they're going to be at that business school or that Ivy League school. When they get out, they're not going to make 100 grand residually. They may make 100 grand salary if they're one of the top 1%, the 1% who get a job. But the reality is they can't get it residually because they got to go to work to earn that money in a job. What about working part-time with us for 5-year plan? What about putting a 7-year plan together? What about putting a 7-month plan together? Folks, you don't stop. If you watch my little video on Facebook today, where we talked about taprooting, all those people between me and the people that were making all that money, they all quit. They just didn't stick it out. Had I not stuck it out, I wouldn't be earning overrides either. But I didn't quit. I didn't let the person I referred when they quit stop me. I didn't let the first few customers I talked to said, I'm not interested, stop me. I didn't let the first payment processing customer who said, yeah, I'll give them statements, who never brought the statements forward, stop me. And you can't either. I'm still uncomfortable talking payment processing. I don't have it all down yet. And so what? I'm still doing it, and so can you. So how long does it take you to get these 100 clients on cash discounting? You may say, David, I don't want to get 100 clients. Okay, you don't have to. Let's talk about what you get in QV and BV and how you can earn on your team. You got to get some. Each client will produce qualifying volume and bonus volume. What's the amount? Standard, it's about your QV and BV equals profit. So QV and BV equals profit, whatever the profit is. If we make $50 a month on that account, you're going to get QV and BV at 50 bucks. If we're making $700 a month on that account, you're getting QV and BV at 700 bucks. Okay? So QV is what you get in qualifying volume toward your DAC residual pay plan. And you need 300 points maximum to get paid on all your levels on the residual side. Business capital side, you get bonuses up front, whether you have 1 point or 200 points, doesn't matter. But you need 300 QV points in DAC's residual plan. That's the max you need. You need between 50 and 300 to qualify in your team. So if it's a standard processor, what's the number? The number is about 1/3 of 1% of their volume. So if they're doing $100,000 in volume, it's going to be, $10,000 in volume, it's going to be about $33 QV points. If they're doing about 10,000, you're going to have about 33 points if it's on standard. If it's cash discount, it's double that. About 2/3 of 1% will be the QV. So if they're doing 10,000, it's going to be about $65 in QV and BV. All right, so 1/3, I didn't type that in there, 1/3 of 1% of what they're doing in monthly volume is about what your QV and BV is going to be personally each month. And then 2/3 of 1% is about what your QV and BV is going to be. Now keep in mind, that's about what we make on the account. We make, if it's standard processing, about 1/3 of 1%. And if it's a cash discount, we make about 2/3 of 1%. That's our profit. Now, profit it varies. It varies month over month. You're not going to get the same amount every month because processing changes. The profit we make on it changes, right? The number of card mixture they get changes. A lot of things that change. But this is a rule of thumb. About 1/3 of 1% is your standard QV, BV. Cash discounting is about 2/3 of 1% is your QV and BV. All right? Now, what does that mean? I already mentioned personal QV equals profit. So let's look at, for a moment, on your income on your team. You're building your team, you're getting clients. I've already shown you this slide, sorry. So rule of thumb, personally, then now we're going to talk about what you make on your personal team. So your personally enrolled agents, you get paid on if you're qualified. Right? You have to get a certain amount of QV points to qualify. But your personally enrolled agents on standard processing, a rule of thumb, you're going to make about 0.33% annually, not monthly, annually. So if they're doing $100,000, you're going to make about $330 a year. So if you recruit me and I go out and refer about $100,000 in processing, whether it's 1 account or 5 accounts or 2 accounts, but I get to $100,000 in payment processing on standard, you're going to make about $330 a year on me. How many me do you have and how many clients do I get? If I help that person get on cash discount, you're going to make about 2/3 of a percent each year. Okay? So $650 a year is what you'll make on every 100,000 on your personally enrolled reps. So that just gives you a rule of thumb. So from algebra, you can go, okay, on a $25,000 account, which is the average on cash discounting, I'm going to make about, 25,000 times 0.65%. Well, what, 150 bucks? Somewhere in there is what you'll make per year on a $25,000, which is the average account. You recruit me, for every average account I refer, you're going to make a couple $100 a year. It doesn't take long and your residual starts accumulating. I get a couple accounts. You got a car bonus paid for. You got a car, your car lease is paid for. I get a couple more. All of a sudden it's covering your house payment. I get a couple more. All of a sudden it's covering your house and your car. You see how this works? And take a screenshot. Now, when you refer people, this is your team depth. What happens is, as they refer people, you get paid as well. And you get paid less. I went too far. My screen's a little slow. You get paid less, but this is through depth on your team. On average, what you're going to make on your entire team, on all the processing in your team. For every 100,000 in processing in your team on standard, you're going to make about 200 a year. And your entire team. And for every, on cash discounting, every 100,000, you're going to make about 400 a year. So we in our game plan, we say our average customer again is 25 grand. So 25,000, look at the cash discount processing. What's 25,000 times 0.4%? it's 100 a year. So you're going to make on average 100 a year on every cash discount customer in your team, about 100 a year. So all of a sudden you have 50 people in your team all get one client, 50 times 100 is $5,000 a year you're making residually. You give yourself a $5,000 a year raise by having 50 people in your entire team, not personally, 50 in your entire team. See, where the rubber meets the road is, can get your team to convert? Can you get your team to convert conversations? Can you get your team to have conversations? How do you do it? You do it by you doing it yourself and then getting the confidence. When I tell you what my buddy saved on his processing, 8% of sales, and he's doing over 30,000 a month in sales, and he's saving that 8%, that moves me. Doesn't it move you? 2,400 a month he's saving on a company only doing 30,000 a month in sales. That's huge. And you got other technologies that builds confidence. That helps you want to talk to your team more. So your goal is take this great information that Kelsey shared, ingest it through your mind and your heart, let those two connect, and let your belief level go, wow, whatever features and benefits others have, we have, and yet we offer it at a savings. And all I got to do is engage the conversation, create the conversation, refer them to my website. They fill out that form, and then Kelsey and team take over. We're already expanding that, which is awesome. And they take over, and we've got professionals on the POS side and professionals on the processing side to help. And I get paid every month for helping my buddy save money, or helping my hair salon save money, or helping the restaurants in my town save money, or whatever it is. Yeah. Now, you don't have to understand math well. Some of you are going, oh, all this 0.4% and 0.2. I get it. The great news is this. We have this programmed in the computer. You don't have to remember any of this. All you have to know is for every personal client you get, you're going to average 25,000 on edge, and you're going to make, what was that amount? 400 a year. I want to go back to that because I don't want to misquote anything. 25,000 times 4% is 1,000 a year. You make about 1,000 a year for every personal client you get. Just remember it that way. Every personal client I get is $1,000. And now they're on edge. If they're on standard, you make obviously half of that. But heck, how many clients can you get? How many clients can you get? So get comfortable with it, and then teach your team to be comfortable with it. And then what happens is the rising tide raises all ships. As you get another 20 new reps, 2 of them will get some customers. You get another 20 reps, 5 of them are going to focus on payment processing. You get another 50 reps, you're going to get another 10 payment processing customers, right? And just through internal consumption alone, a lot of those people are business owners like Kelsey. She switched over her own boutique, like Ellen Wynn switched over her own business. We got chiropractors in our business. We got accountants in our business. They're all switching their own processing over. Why wouldn't they? So just through internal consumption alone, you're going to have some payment processing customers. So focus on expansion, focus on belief and heart, and you get that word out, and don't sit on this information, share it, and you win. That's how easy it is. I know we covered a lot of information. So what I want to do is I want to go right to questions. Let me find the screen again. I can't find all of you, but I will. Bear with me one moment. There we are. So what we're going to do is we're going to take questions. And Kelsey, you've been fabulous. I know you've been here a long time, as has everyone else. I apologize for going a little longer. Got into a little passion rant. Folks, I want freedom for you more than you'd ever know. I talked to a CEO of a company. We're launching a new service. Was talking to them today, and they're pumped. The reason they're here is because of our passion for helping you as agents and business owners. That's why they want us to market their service. And it's already nationally being marketed, and we're excited. By the way, you know who called me today? The technology we're using right now. They called and offered us a contract to market their service, Zoom. So we've got a lot of neat things in the hopper, but the key is it's all because we have a passion for helping you and a passion for helping business owners. That's not fake, it's real, but it means nothing if you're not out there getting after it, right? So let's go to your questions. I'm going to start with Ellen Wynn. Ellen, you are now unmuted. If you got a question, folks, just raise your hand. And there's an option that says raise hand down where it says participants. I'll see it and I'll call your name and unmute you. So Ellen, you're unmuted. What have you got for us tonight?
Oh man, what a great call tonight. This was awesome. Awesome job, Kelsey, and you too, David, going through the comp plan. Hey, can David, you covered a key point yesterday on our agent call talking about what you do with the receipt and looking at that. I went through that with my team last night and everybody loved it. So I thought that would be beneficial for you to share, looking to see if you saw that cash discount on the receipt. Everybody on this call needs to hear it.
All right, appreciate it. Yeah, so basically, whenever someone is already using cash discount processing, and if you're not sure what that is because you're brand new, it simply means when someone uses a credit card at a restaurant or wherever they are, they're going to pay a different price than if they pay cash. They're going to get a discount if they pay cash. They're going to pay a little higher price if they use credit card. Much like when you go into a gas station now, guys, gals, you pay at the pump, you're going to pay a credit card price. You go inside and pay, you're going to pay a cash price, which is lower. So debit cards and cash pay a lower price. If you enter your PIN code anyway on a debit card or pay cash, you pay a lower price. If you pay with a credit card, you're going to pay a little premium. Now, every one of those, when you have cash discounting, doesn't matter what POS system we have, it doesn't matter what state they're in, if you're using Edge or cash discounting on your receipt, it's going to have a separate line item that says cash price, credit card price. It's going to distinguish the two. Or it's going to say credit card admin fee or something along those lines. You're going to see a little extra bump in the price because they're using a credit card. You only see that if they're already in cash discount processing. Less than 5% of businesses out there have cash discount processing yet, but man, it's hockey sticking. And 2 years from now, it'll probably be the other way around where only 5% don't. But right now, very few have it. You can bring that movement forward. So when you get your receipt, anytime you get the receipt, look at it. And if they're not already doing cash discount, doesn't that become a prime candidate for you to call them back later or even right then start the conversation and say, hey, by the way, I see you don't have cash discount processing. You ate the credit card fee on this, right? You paid a fee, so you're not getting the full amount. You're paying the credit card. Are you not familiar with cash discount processing? And it'll open the door of the conversation. Then you can take the next steps and say, oh, yeah, you've never heard of it? Oh, man, I got it. Would it be okay if I send you some information? We can get your fees almost down to zero by doing what we call cash discount processing. I can follow up with you later. I can give you a website. So it opens the conversation. Now, I checked out at a busy liquor store yesterday. I got a submarine sandwich as I was going to my boat, and it was busy. So I didn't take the guy. I don't know if it was the owner or not. I should have said something right then, but I copied the receipt. Now I've got the receipt. I can call them back now and say, hey, by the way, I was looking at my receipt and I saw this. I was in there and bought a sandwich. So it opens up the dialogue. So it's just a pro tip. It's something brand new. It makes a lot of sense. I've not done it yet successfully, but doesn't it seem to make sense? It helps you identify who's using it and who's not. It's number one. Number two, if ever you use a debit card, you know it's a debit card and they don't automatically prompt up to enter your PIN. They are so overpaying. It's not even funny. Their payment processing person is taking such advantage of them right now because it was almost 4 years ago that the law passed that you couldn't charge a business owner the full credit card price if a debit card's used. That law passed, it gave the business owner that protection. But if the processor never told them, they're still paying at 3-4% on a debit card, and Visa is willing to charge only like a 0.75% or 0.5%. So it's almost a cash price. So if you use a debit card and it doesn't prompt you to enter your PIN, man, they're so overpaying. You could save them so much money. It's not even funny. So that's another telltale. It's another telltale that you've got a client you can save a lot of money. So the receipt, and then if you don't have to enter your PIN on a debit card. Great question, Ellen. Thank you for the reminder on that. All right, let's go to Christina Smith. Christina, you are now unmuted. I'm trying to unmute you anyway. You may be on a phone that's muted, so go ahead and try to unmute yourself. Okay, I'm going to go to David Tucker. Let me see if we can unmute David Tucker. There you go, David. You're unmuted. You got a question for Kelsey?
Yeah, I do. Thanks, Dave. My question is, I talked to a thrift store owner, and he does, he takes all cash payments. And I just told him, you know, you should consider using a credit card payment processor because I think you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Should I have told him that? And then, so he's interested in, you know, trying to find out if he can actually save money by not just allowing cash payments without taking credit cards. He's doing about $4,000 a month in sales.
Yeah, so businesses like that are, I don't want to like the bread and butter for edge processing, because the reason why they haven't ever started taking credit cards is because they don't want to pay the fees, right? So this way you can offer them a way that they aren't turning customers away, or, you know, they can have more sales by accepting credit cards and they don't have to pay the fee. So I would say follow up with him because he's very interested, and talk to him about the cash discount program because, you know, he's already so familiar with cash and that's how he's been doing his business anyway. This is just an easy add-on to his business.
Amen. And he won't necessarily save money because obviously he's not paying credit card fees now, but he'll be able to bring in extra revenue and it won't cost him any fee cost because that'll be borne by the customer choosing to use a credit card. Brett Malik, we're going to go to you now. Brett, have you got a question for Kelsey, Brett?
Yes, I do, David. And this is about going back and forth with a client. A client asked me a question about software, and I emailed it to Kelsey, and Kelsey answered it, and I emailed the response back to the owner. And then the owner bombarded me with questions about back-end systems, chip readers, First Data, Clover, and my head was about ready to explode. So now I'm almost at the point now where what do I do? Do I say to the owner, hey, fill out the free quote and Kelsey will answer all your questions? Where do I go from here?
Kelsey, you want to take
two
that?
options. Yeah, I'll take it. So two options. Number one, we're creating resources. So you guys will just have that where it's easy to kind of pinpoint, they won't be merchant facing resources, but it'll kind of be like a frequently asked questions for you to keep maybe in your, binder or briefcase or whatever that you're working with, or a screenshot on your phone if you're wanting to be digital, but it'll answer those questions. But in that situation, because we didn't have that resource out yet, you could do two things. Ask them to fill out the quote request, because that would spark the conversation. That would be my number one suggestion, because if they're not willing to fill out that form, it kind of shows that they're not really serious about going through the process anyway, just to put it that way. And then number two, you could schedule a 3-way call with him, yourself, and me. Just give me plenty of heads up and kind of say, these were his questions, this is what's going on, maybe you can answer it. And that would be option number two. So first, the quote request form. And then second, we could try to get on the phone together to work through that.
Very good. And I would just say this, Brett, I'd add, the reason we have that form is not to create a speed bump that stops a client, but Kelsey utilizes all that. She reads all that. Seeing all that helps. And then seeing the processing statements helps. So getting a copy of the statements. Now, if they say, I don't want to submit all that till I've talked to someone, it's okay for you to say, I understand. And if you, even before you submit the statements, if you fill all that out, I can then get a team made on the phone with you. One of our experts can answer all your questions. I'm new at this. I'm here to help you. Check out my website. But the reality is, sometimes we're not going to be able to get a customer who is kicking tires and asking a bunch of analytical questions we don't have answers to. I haven't had that yet. I've been able to say, you know what? I focus on our business capital, but I've got experts who focus on payment processing. If you just fill out that form, they'll go to work. They'll take over from there. And I've even said, and by the way, I don't just schedule calls with this team. They're very busy and they're dealing with clients who've already filled out this form. So you fill out the form, there's no obligation, but it helps them know you're really serious. And then they're willing to jump on the phone. And if that's not good enough for them, it's not good enough. That is our business model. Right. And I tell them I'm new at this. Of course, Kelsey's willing to get on a call with you, but if we're adding hundreds of agents a week. If everyone wanted to call Kelsey every time they have someone who has a question before they fill out the form, she's not going to be able to take care of the ones who did. and we can't, it's just not the right fit for our team. We're paying out 85%, almost 90% of what we make on these to the field. So we got to rely on some sorting process that the business owner has to be willing to go through the process, or you've got to take on more of the role yourself. And that's why we do these trainings. Thank you, buddy. Stan, let's go to Stan. I'm not sure who Stan is, if it's Stan Dennison or who, but Stan's phone. You're live, Stan.
Hey, David, it is Stan Dennison. How are you, brother?
I love it. I love it. I miss you, man.
Hey, I just wanted to come back on that question right there, because what I have found that I'm doing, and I really like it, is when they hit me with stuff I don't know, I just simply roll that back to say, hey, fill out that quote. It takes 5 minutes, and the professionals are now on it. And if you don't want to hand me any information, I respect that, because I'm not privileged to any of your private information. I love those looks when those store owners realize that me, a friend, or somebody who shops at their store all the time, never sees their statements and their finances to know how much they're doing in business. So I roll that back to you guys, and it seems to work really well to me to say, I'm just the messenger. I've got great products. I've got great services. I can save you a fortune. It won't take you 15 minutes to fill it out, but I'm not privileged to any of your financial information. It makes them feel good.
I tell you what, Kelsey, this is Kelsey's father, a successful business owner. And I'm just going to turn the host over to you two and get out of the way. I love it. That's why he's gotten so many clients. Great job, Stan. Thanks for that, my friend. All right, Christine Smith. We're going to go with you, Christine. Let's try to unmute. There you go. You're unmuted, Christine. You got a question for Kelsey?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, I've seen the retail and all these other things. What about trades like HVAC or plumbing,
Yes.
do you have anything there?
Yes. So I just kind of put some things up there that are specifically or specific to those industries. But yes, absolutely. We have some roofing clients. We have gyms. We have, pretty much any merchant you can think of. We offer services to. Again, it's one of those things where it's pretty industry specific. So you want to make sure you refer them to fill out the quote, because we will have to, have a more in-depth conversation with those trades to find out what they're doing. If they're invoicing, if they have mobile equipment, if they're taking payments on the job, or, they're keying in. So those are all the details that we need to take over. So just refer those to your website, and we'll get it taken care of for you.
Okay. So with that would be also, kind of them calling in and setting up appointments and scheduling and stuff like that.
As far as them, for their business, they're scheduling appointments for their business?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do have software and technology that has appointment booking and time slot reservation and things like that too. Yeah.
Much like a hair salon, right? Very similar to a hair salon as booking. Yeah. Great question there, Christine. Thank you. Let's go to Scott Tesler. Scott, how you doing, buddy? You are, I'm trying to get you unmuted. There you go. How you doing, Scott? You got a question?
Pretty good. Yeah, I have two questions. Should I ask them both up front or?
Go right ahead.
Okay, so the first one's about the meter beat guarantee. I wanted to know, is that anywhere in writing that the client or the prospect could see it? And does that refer to just the transaction fees, or sort of the all-in with the equipment, the processing fees, any monthly fees, setup, etc.? What is that actually referring to? So that's the first question. I know it's a multi-parter. And the other question is, when we talk about free placement, that's separate from, I notice sometimes it'll say free placement, but then there's a setup fee or a monthly fee. So could you kind of clarify, I don't want, when I say free placement, that's only referring to part of that equipment cost, right? Not necessarily there could still be some ongoing fees associated with it. Yeah.
You bet. Let me handle the $500 meter beat, and then we'll have Kelsey handle the free placement.
Thank you.
$500 meter beat is regarding their monthly cost, what they're paying monthly. Now, obviously, if we're going to give them a software they don't have today, and it's got a $95 monthly fee like Retail Cloud or something, that's not counted. So we're talking about apples to apples processing and monthly service fee to have processing. We're not talking about the equipment add-ons, because obviously those can change the mix. But we're just talking about what their monthly cost is today versus apples to apples, what it would be with us. That's the 500 meter beat. Is it in writing anywhere? We've got documents in our training that we'll make sure we put one in the Agent Resource Center that you can refer people, but it's not in writing as far as customer facing. We send it to the customers, and it's more of a marketing pitch for you guys. But it has been requested that we add that to the website. And so maybe we can add that as a token item on the website so it's there. So hopefully that answers your question about what that's for.
Thanks.
You can print it off from one of the old trainings, but we'll make sure that's available more readily. And then the second thing, as far as the free placement versus the cost, I'll let Kelsey address that.
Yeah, so good question, because I can see where that would be kind of confusing. So when we say free placement, there is a purchase option with all of the free placement, but that equipment is pretty expensive. So when we say free placement, most business owners know exactly what we're talking about because they've either had a POS system before, or they've had to purchase something outright. So free placement means they can have it for free, but that's not going to cover the software that's included on the device. And that software fee, depending on the device, that's going to be like the back office hosting, that's going to cover, all the, ins and outs, if they need something serviced. And this is with the larger, equipment bundles. They're doing the text marketing, the email marketing, like all of that is included in that equipment fee. And depending on the bundle or the software fee, it could be $49 a month. It could be $99 a month. Our little devices the cheapest one is $9.95 a month. And again, that's just covering the software and the connectivity to the device because it's not a simple card reader. So I hope that makes sense. On our resources, we have the purchase price listed. So even when we say it's a free placement, they can see the purchase price and see that they're getting one heck of a deal, right? Just with the Paradise equipment, it's a free placement. They're just paying for the shipping for it to get there. And they're saving $1,300, right? They're like, yep, sign me up. I don't want to pay $1,300. I will pay that $49 a month software fee. So hope that cleared that up.
And then who owns the
to go on top of that, let me just add one more thing, Scott. The monthly hosting or the monthly software costs and shipping costs, those are the same whether they pay cash upfront or take the free placement. It's not like, okay, let's charge more for the monthly software costs because we're giving free placement. It really is free placement. Now, if they stop processing, they owe that equipment back or they're paying for it. So free placement means it's on loan as long as you're using our processor.
Okay, thanks. That was sort of what I was getting at too then. So if it's free, then they don't own the equipment, but they can use it as long as they stay with us. And then is there a contract term or is that going to just depend on each client?
Yeah, we do have them sign a contract when they're getting free placement.
Okay. Thanks.
You bet. Good questions, buddy. Okay, so Christine, I'm going to try you. We already talked to Christine, actually. I'm going to lower your hand, Christine. Scott, thank you for that. And let's go to, there's only a couple more. We're going to go to Bela Siegler. Sorry, Bela, if I said your name wrong.
It's all good. I don't know. I could have missed the beginning. Sorry. I missed the first few minutes, and I think maybe I missed some of the most important pieces of information. But so I have two people in mind, actually more than two people. But let's say small business owners that the immediate response that I got when I made a comment, do you take credit cards? Well, no, because I have to pay 3%. So I have two people in mind who fall into this category. I mean, I can go to, hey, why don't you fill out a quote? It doesn't cost anything. Would that be your next go-to comment? This is somebody who's starting up a business and doesn't have constant business coming in. So obviously he doesn't want to add to his expenses 3% more, and he's already giving a low rate, right? That would just happen like this, even like half hour before this call started. I'm like, so how would you respond to somebody like
Yeah,
that?
I'll give you my response, and then we'll let Kelsey, the expert, give a response. I would say, hey, what if you could get credit card processing and not have to pay that 3%?
Okay, so I really didn't even have the knowledge. So is that the general, like, that you won't have to pay a percentage? Possibly?
If you use our cash discount processing, if they pay cash, they pay the same. If they pay debit card, they pay same. There's no fees. And if there's a credit card used by the customer, then the customer bears a little higher price. They end up paying a little premium because they're using a credit card, just like when you go get gas at a gas pump.
Right, just
So
like you
that's
were
what I would
explaining
say.
earlier.
Kelsey, do you have a comment that's even better than that?
No, just to kind of clarify a few things, because she brought a few things up that I didn't cover tonight. Some of this information is more in depth in the previous recordings that we've done. Tonight was kind of like equipment based and kind of, what to do right now kind of thing. But yes, we do offer processing for businesses that are starting up. That's something unique to us. So we can provide standard processing or cash discount processing to those businesses. And then just like David said, those businesses that are only accepting cash, just like the thrift store earlier, they're only accepting cash for a reason, right? It's 2020.
Right.
There's no reason why a business should not be accepting a credit card. And the only reason why they don't want to is because they don't want to be out any money. And so, yes, cash discounting is that solution for them. And to finish that, yes, have them go to your website so they can fill out that quote request. I hate saying that word. Quote request. And so that way it ties it to you. In that questionnaire, it'll ask them, are you currently accepting credit cards right now? Yes or no. How much are you processing? Yes or no. All of that's in there, and it'll help us, help them. So.
Right. So just to clarify, I'm going to say back that cash, what's the word that you use?
Cash discount.
Yes, thank you. The cash discount is basically, it's the same price when the customer pays cash, and if they pay with a credit card, their price gets bumped up a little bit. So basically, they're paying the fee and not the business owner. Is that how it's working? Okay.
Yes.
And what about somebody who has people paying in large chunks of cash? So that means when they pay by credit card, it's not going to be a small bump increase. Would you recommend something different for that? My husband's business is like that, and he's never taken credit cards in, I don't know, 12 or more years for that, one of those reasons. So people are paying, it's not a steady income, but when they pay in a chunk. Then when you use a credit card, it would really bump it up.
Bayla,
what would you recommend?
What we always do is we charge 4%. Cash discounting is a 4% bump to the price. But it's only if they choose to not use cash, right? So your husband can still charge cash. He can still encourage cash. He can say, I'd give a discount if you use cash. Right. But if you're going to pay with a credit card, your price is going to be $850 for this job. If you pay cash, it'll be discounted. So it's you call it a cash discount. You don't say it's a credit card charge up, right?
Right.
It's voiced as a credit card discount or cash discount, but they can always use cash or a debit card, and it won't cost any more.
Right, but the client will still be able to process the payment within the system to keep track of it, and won't have to pay additional fees. Or maybe they'll pay the $9.99 a month for whatever service they're paying for. Correct.
But that's usually offset by we charge 4%, but we don't charge them the whole 4%. They pay a little less. So that little extra usually can help cover the monthly cost. If they got software costs and stuff, it may not cover that, but maybe they'll be out $30 or $40 a month rather than 3% of sales or 4% of sales.
Right. So that percentage rate is a monthly percentage and not per sale.
No, it is a per sale. So let's say you're Bayla, let's say you're the hair salon down the street starts doing our cash discount processing, and I get my hair done for $100. I'm overpaying obviously because I don't have much hair. So
Okay.
if I'm paying $100, they're only going to, in today's standard processing, they're only going to retain maybe 95 of that because they got to pay the
Right.
processor 5%. So
Right.
in the future world with Edge, I go in and pay $100, and because I'm using a credit card, I'm going to be billed 104 instead of 100.
Right. Right.
Or if I pay cash, it's only 100. So if I pay cash, the hairstylist keeps all 100. If I pay with credit card, I'm paying 104. $4 is retained for the processor, and I still get the 100, or the hairstylist still gets the 100. I paid 104. So
Okay.
it's 4% bump per transaction, which ends up covering the merchant's payment processing costs.
Right. So is that not already like that in a lot of places?
It wasn't legal. It was only legal in gas stations until this past couple of years. It's now legal in every state. That's why it's called cash discount processing. Some states, they don't allow you to add a surcharge, but they allow you to discount for cash. So we call it cash discount.
Okay, you have to use the
processing. All
terminology.
machines show cash discount, but it's brand new. It's brand new, and business owners are flocking to it.
I feel like that's happened to me already.
Yeah.
I don't know why or where. I feel like I've already paid things like that.
I'm sure you have. Every time you buy gas at the pump, you do. And
there you go. That's the only thing I do. I don't go shopping. I don't do anything but buy gas. And I haven't even been doing that for the last 3 months.
Well, Bailey,
Thank you very much.
imagine all the business owners, you know why your husband doesn't like taking credit cards, and you know why those two people you talk to, it's very expensive. And I'll add one more thing. Sometimes people don't want to take credit cards because it's hard to get approved. Our approval process is a lot easier than most processors.
Okay, that's helpful to know.
Add to everything I just said? No?
Okay.
Kelsey, you good? Nothing you want to add to that? Okay.
I have a few other people in mind, so we'll see what happens. Thank you very much.
Go to the website, Bailey, and we'll let our team take over and watch the other payment processing trainings that are posted in the Agent Resource Center. They'll give you some good basics.
Awesome.
Welcome aboard. Thank you. Okay, we got Harlequin Murray. Come on down.
Hey, David. Great job today, David and Kelsey. You blew it out of the park.
Yes, she did.
One of the things that I wanted to bring up is something that I've run into with one of my agents. She owns a restaurant and she has signed up for Edge processing. And I met with her last week, and her employees are, let's just say they're not explaining things properly to the customers about the cash discount. And what we've decided to do is I'm going to go in and do training with them. And, you know, because the way that the employee presents it to the customers can make all the difference in the world. Because what her employee is doing is, oh, I don't know why, but you just have to pay 4% more. And the customers are getting all upset. So I'm going to go in and explain to her, okay, this is why we're doing it. And if they want to pay by cash, they pay the cash price. If they want to pay by credit card, they pay the credit price. The other idea that we came up with is we're going to create just a small little, like a business card size thing to put on the inside of the receipt folder that they hand the receipts out to everybody with, explaining what it is, just in case the server is busy, so that they know, okay, this is why there's a cash price and a credit price. But just kind of a...
Yeah, I appreciate that. I know we've got some signs, like those small things, compliance rules, they get a lot of that stuff. So Kelsey, do you want to speak to this a little bit?
Well, actually, I will say she didn't unbox it, and I think the employee tossed it. So she didn't put any signs up.
Well, and I'm wondering if this is the restaurant that I'm thinking of. So
it starts with an F.
Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so we had some recent signage, but also with signage, it goes in the menu for most restaurants, just as an FYI for everybody. But she also reached out to us, and we actually have someone on the payment processing team that actually used to own restaurants. And so we scheduled a call with him and the restaurant owner just so we could talk through some things. And I think that helped a lot. And, but yes, you're right. And I think it starts with the owner, starts with the owner, that goes down to the employees, and making sure that that's right. I think you're doing a great job, Harlequin, and, taking some extra initiative. But for future reference, everybody, we do have a ex-restaurant owner that's on the Edge Cash Discount team, and he knows what they're dealing with. He knows, he owned his own restaurant, so he knows how to talk about, tips and cash discounting and customers and things like that. So that is a resource that we have for future reference. And I know that that business owner with the F restaurant wasn't too disappointed.
She's an agent, so we could say it's Firefly.
Yeah. She has actually already started referring other restaurants to the Edge Cash Discount, and that restaurant was the one that was saving over $4,000 a month. That's who we're going to talk to this week.
That's
I know.
Hey, let me say this too. Isn't it true that Michael, are you talking about Michael with the restaurant owner? Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when he trained us originally on this, I remember he said, as long as you print it in the menu or put it in the menu, you always have something to the server to refer to, and they always see it when they walk in and in the menu. I'd be curious what he thinks about putting it in every credit card padfolio. If you think that's overkill. I mean, I've never looked at my bill. I don't know if drawing attention to it is what you want to do if it's in the menu, but I also don't want to confuse people who don't know about it. So be curious to see what Michael has to say to them about whether they should put a card in every bill, or if it should just be in the bill pad or on the, it's got to be on the menu by compliance rules. But all right, good stuff, Harlequin. Way to take up the reins of getting with them. And Kelsey, thanks for talking to the client and also getting Michael on the phone with them. That's fabulous. Obviously, they're happy or they wouldn't have referred others. And
well, and I'll just say while you're finding the next question, the Firefly restaurant, so the agent is the owner, and their savings for their own restaurant was $999 a month. So, they had this little hiccup with the server, but they're like, you know what, we're going to work through it because we're still going to save $999 a month. So just a little FYI on that restaurant.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's a little hiccup for $1,200 or $12,000 a year. That's pretty darn good. Okay, Ralph Nichols, you're on deck. What do you got for us, Ralph?
Yes, sir. I had a question, and maybe if you and Kelsey have some suggestions on this. I have a guy who says he's interested. His son has a business across the street and is using a cash discount system, not ours. But anyway, this guy has ticket items that are about $4,000. So when he goes Edge, if he goes Edge, he's going to be doing like $160 additional charge for each, could be for each customer. And he says, well, I'm afraid that I'll upset my customers. So any thoughts on that?
I'll give you my thoughts first, Kelsey, and then she'll double up and improve on that. First of all, you can always not charge the customer the cash, the premium. You can always bypass it. So if he's going to lose a customer over that, he can waive that fee and just pay it himself. That's number one. Number two, he's paying that $160 right now. So, it's really comes down to, does he want to keep incurring that cost himself, or would he rather charge it? And if it becomes a problem, then bypass it and waive the fee for that customer that time. Say, okay, the prices I quoted you are cash prices. If you're going to pay with a credit card, you're going to pay our regular price rather than our cash discounted price. So the quote I'm giving you is cash discounted price. And as long as they communicate that up front, people know, okay, that's my cash price. If I use a credit card rather than a debit card or cash, it's going to be a little higher. And again, if it becomes a heartburn problem where they're customers really complain and they can say, I'm going to waive it for you this time, but going forward, no, the price we quote is cash. That's what I would say. Kelsey, what do you got for that?
No, I think that's great. The only thing I want to add is that with businesses that are doing cash discount already, don't let that throw you off, because we've had several who were on what they thought was a great cash discount program, but those processors threw in a lot of hidden fees. So, they were paying an extra $100 a month that they didn't need to. Now, were they paying, $1,000 like they were before they switched to cash discount? No, but they were still paying an extra $60 a month that they didn't need to, and we can show them that. So any business that's already doing cash discount, go ahead and get that statement, have them request the quote. We can talk about it, because odds are they're paying fees they don't have to. We can help reduce that, and then also have the cash discount conversation.
Love it. All right, we have 2 questions left. I'm going to go to Ron Watterson first, who's using the old-fashioned hand up. Ron, I see you. You got a question for Kelsey, Ron? You're live.
Okay, thank you, David. My question is, I've got a suspect. He's not a client. He's a suspect. Okay, he is a entrepreneur. He's got 29 IHOPs and Applebee's. Now, what I need to know is, how do you go about this? I mean, do you have to present them one by one, or you get the whole smear? Okay.
Kelsey, all you.
Okay, so the only thing that's bad about big franchises like that is a lot of times they have corporate regulations. And I'm not saying we can't make it happen. If he's the owner for every location, he'd be the one that you would need to talk to about the payment processing. There's just a lot more that goes into corporations or franchises like that. They might have to have a certain look of equipment. They might have to charge a certain percentage. There might just be some rules and guidelines that we have to follow. So I'm not going to sit here and say that it can't happen, because it can. Probably, but there's going to be a lot more, time and involvement and hoops to jump through. So I don't want to tell you not to do it. It's just going to take a lot longer than if you were to focus on, smaller businesses that weren't franchises or corporations.
Good point. You got a follow up to that, Ron?
Yeah, I've got another man that's got 2 businesses. Okay, they're the same hamburger joints. Okay, now. I presented this discount, cash discount, and he said, well, I don't think I can use that because I've got special equipment. Okay. And when he said that, he wasn't interested. So how do I go about, presenting this to him?
Well, what I would do personally is I would say, I actually learned about the equipment that we offered last night, or, an hour ago. And I think we're pretty competitive. I know we can save you a lot of money. I heard about this business that saved this much and this business that saved this much. Why don't we see what we can do for you?
Yeah. He kind of told me in a roundabout way that he didn't believe me. I said, just because I'm from Texas, I don't lie.
Yeah. Well, remember, Ron, when she said some will, some won't.
Some won't.
So, yeah, I mean, the bottom line is all you can do is offer your transparent heart and your desire to serve clients. And if he's not interested, next.
Next.
Hey, way to go.
Next.
All right. Thank you, buddy. All right. Our last comment question of the night is our buddy from South America, Matthew Duhane. Come on down, buddy.
Hey guys. Well, I got to say, Kelsey, your energy level went from 130% during that. It was fantastic. I feel like, oh, you're so mellow now. It's great. I give you a 10.5. That was awesome. And the icebreaker, I want to get to that one because no one's talked about it. And that was the key, the secret there. Those icebreakers were so informative, I've got to tell you. And it's soft, it's being curious, and it's being helpful. And that's the approach. And you nailed it. And that was so helpful for me. I got to tell you, I want to thank you for that. And it's going to help me tremendously. It's a totally different approach, and I'm going to implement it. We'll see what happens. You give me the equipment. I don't know if you can hear me or on. I'd love to see her do separate on our website. Click, trucks, hair salons, construction companies with the various benefits and features of each of the equipment for each of those industries. Click here, at our website. Man, that would knock it out of the park. And she does the presentation like nobody's business. I mean, she knows it, and why should we have to? And she's correct. I absolutely love it. Agent bonuses, 4 to 6% commission on a $10,000 processing client for the first full month. And it counts as one client in your DAC pay plan. That was something, David, I want to make sure that covering the compensation with a small amount, that's great. But darn, if you get a big account, that guy with a $40,000 a month, that counts for the agent about 20, half of that loan value is about 20 grand. You're going to make 4 to 6% on that client and 50%, which is cool. Last point, Service Star. I'm like doing your presentation. I'm excited about it because now I see all the agents like, wow, I could do that. I could do that. If the Service Star, let's see, the pre-qual is submitted prior to the end of our clock for Service Star, does that count if they're activated for a client in the Service Star plan? That was a question for you, David, and I'll end with that.
Yeah, the great comments. I agree with you on Kelsey. I agree with you that those presentations by niche would be great. I was going to share my screen, but for sake of time, I won't. I took one screenshot, and it's called Business Owner Icebreakers. I'm looking at it right now. I was just like you. I'm like, I need those. They're brilliant. So thank you, Kelsey, for that. The rest of the slides I'd already seen, but that one I was like, I need that. So I'll be using those icebreakers. Good stuff. As far as the bonuses, I agree. Yes, the bonuses happen as well. You get them. It takes time, a couple months before you get your upfront bonus because they got to use it for a full calendar month, and then we get paid a month later. So it takes some time, but there is some money in addition to the 50% profit that you can get. We downplay it because a lot of our clients don't get it, and it's caused confusion when we promoted it too much. So now we're under promoting it and surprising people. But at the same time, it's good for knowledge that you have that in case you didn't watch the comp plan training for the new people, especially. As far as Service Star, if you're not familiar with Service Star, folks, I don't want to confuse you, but watch the Service Star video. But for those who do know what Matthew's talking about, yes, to get your 6 personal clients, you have to get them within your first 30 days. And payment processing, it may take 2 weeks to activate that service. So if one of your clients is payment processing and you submit it within your first 30 days and it takes 2 more weeks to activate, we're still going to count it as one of your 6 as long as it begins to activate, begins to process. But we can't count the QV toward your 300 because that's 2 more months down the road. So you won't be a Service Star until that 6th customer activates, but you'll have to get your 300 points elsewhere. If 2 months down the road, you start getting your points and that got you above the 300, then you'll become Service Star 2 months from now, if that was your qualifying. So yes, we retroactively count it toward the 6, and yes, we retroactively count the volume toward your 300, but you're not qualified until that volume comes forward, unless you had your 300 points in volume some other way. So did that clarify, Matthew?
100%.
All right. Thank you, buddy. Hey, well, listen, Kelsey, this is your show. You're going to bring us home tonight. That's our final question. I'm going to let you share whatever you want to share with the team. I appreciate you big time, Kelsey, and all your contributions, the endless hours you're putting into this business. It's unmatched. So thank you very much. Kelsey Britton, your show to bring home.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for staying on. I hope you guys got value from tonight. I'm glad you guys liked the icebreakers. One last one that I forgot to put on the slide, and I can't believe it. I was like hitting myself all night. There was an article that was published today, and we put it in the DAC agents Facebook group, and it's about one of our competitors that is not a circle, right? And it came out that said competitor is actually keeping merchants' money. So anyone who's using that payment processing, they've been holding on to it. And we actually had a merchant switch to us because they said, we can't run our business like this. Like, you guys aren't going to hold our funds, right? And we're like, no, what? We knew that was happening before this article came out, but now it's public. So if you want to talk about an icebreaker, anybody that is using that competitor that's not a circle, all you have to say is, did you see that article from the New York Times, right? Oh, you're not aware of this, right? Like, that's a great icebreaker. So use that. It's in the group. It's public knowledge, right? It's not just us being chatty Cathy's over here about the competitors. Everyone's talking about it. You can too, and you can use it to build your business. And then also, don't wait, you guys, right? I said it's been a crazy busy week. It's only Tuesday, and it's only Tuesday for you too, right? So you have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday to really hustle hard, start talking to these business owners, brainstorm, plan, and do, and don't wake up on Sunday morning wondering where your week went. Wake up feeling accomplished because you did help these business owners, start that process to start saving and get the equipment that's going to help them grow their business. So we're here to help. We have your back. Don't wait, and get out and do it.
Well done, Kelsey. Good night, everybody. Appreciate you all. And go beat Square in the face. Don't let them take advantage of business owners anymore. God bless you all. Great job, Kelsey.